in the world. In today's video,
Jadon Sancho joined Chelsea on the deadline day of the summer transfer window, which is icing on the cake of the Blues' another crazy campaign. One of the biggest signings of the year, that's for sure. Together with Sancho, the Blues have put together the strongest attacking line in the Premier League's history, which will bring Chelsea back to the top four. In this video, we are gonna analyze why the London club needed Sancho in the first place, on what tricky terms they landed him, and what Chelsea eventually achieved in the market this summer. Wanna know the whole truth? Then sit back, relax, and have a listen. Jadon Sancho left Manchester United and moved to Chelsea right at the closing stage of the transfer window. The pensioners have taken the Englishman on a one-season loan, but with an obligation to buy. Fabrizio Romano found out that the amount in question will be around £25 million. A genius robbery from Chelsea? Yeah, because they tend to recruit players from the Championship for the same money. But this time, the Blues snatched the guy who outplayed PSG solo in the semi-finals of the previous Champions League. Naturally, Chelsea still faced some hesitation. By bringing Sancho in, the club took on a significant financial burden for his salary. At Old Trafford, Jadon earned £250,000 before taxes. British journalists are already reporting that he took a pay cut for the sake of playing for Chelsea. But even without knowing the exact figures, we wouldn't be wrong to guess that Sancho's salary at Chelsea won't be lower than £150,000 a week. Therefore, the low buy option makes only one side of the coin, and still Stamford Bridge executives have made a pretty smart move here. Speaking of Jadon's motives, they are completely understandable. Sancho failed at Manchester United, and after a dispute with Erik ten Hag, was looking for an opportunity to reboot his career. In the second part of last season, he managed to revive himself while on loan at Borussia Dortmund. Throughout the Parisians' journey to the Champions League final, Sancho proved to be one of the team's most useful performers. Dortmund could not, while Jadon did not want to stay in Manchester, even after he and Erik ten Hag reconciled. At the age of 24, Sancho has no time to waste, so he needed a new permanent club, but one where he would not disappear from the radar and remain in the top league. Chelsea turned out to be exactly what he was looking for. The West Londoners are long-term admirers of Sancho, and they were never bothered by his failed performances for United. The idea of landing Jadon has been in the minds of Chelsea's officials for years, according to Football London. The club's intentions were well connected with the fact that the winger is a native of London and a Chelsea supporter.
This is South London, my home.
3 years ago, he spoke about his love for the club and its legends in an interview with TalkSport.
England hero. I'll probably say Frank Lampard. Yeah, because you know, I was a Chelsea fan growing up. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard was my favourite players at the time. And yeah, I just love Frank Lampard and how he played his game. He was so direct and, you know, so composed on the ball, and I like things like that.
So his dream as a fan will come true. Although it's still difficult to understand how exactly he will fit into Chelsea's starting lineup, the purpose of this deal is obvious. The Blues want to make their attack the most dangerous in the entire Premier League. Sancho meets all the criteria: goals, assists, creating threatening chances, and successful dribbling attempts. Jadon has made 285 appearances in his club career, scored 89 goals, and provided 84 assists. Moreover, in the previous Champions League season, he completed more successfully than any other player, 4.2. Simply put, he gives everything at once. At Chelsea, it'll be hard for Sancho to claim the right-winger position. Yet, he has a great chance to play on the left, or if necessary, become a 10 for Enzo Maresca's squad. The left-winger position seems optimal for the newcomer due to Mikhail Mudrik's inability to fulfill the head coach's expectations. As for the playmaker's position, Sancho would have competed with Christopher Nkunku. Besides, in the recent encounter against Wolverhampton, Chelsea's Cole Palmer operated as a playmaker, giving way to Noni Madueke on the right-winger role. It's quite possible that this restructuring will become permanent in Maresca's tactics. Therefore, Sancho's opportunities seem to be clear, but things are not so simple. Now Chelsea's coaching staff will have to end hard about so that they can find the payment in the stake. But how nice to have such an option in Sancho, as well as such a headache. Let's see what Maresca will come up with during the season. What's great about Jadon's move is that it perfectly fits the club's concept. Just 24 years old, London born, Chelsea fan. Still at a promising age, a strong connection to his hometown, not to mention his love for the team. All this is true for Sancho. Perfect prerequisites for reviving his career and conquering the Premier League. Do you know what else will help Sancho? His high-quality partners and newcomers that Chelsea acquired in the summer as part of their huge campaign. Let's take a quick look at each of them. The Blues have bought Brazilian winger from Palmeiras Estevão William, 18-year-old Barcelona striker Marc Guiu, and left-back Caleb Willie from Atlanta United. The club also signed a young, talented Basel defensive midfielder Renato Veiga and 19-year-old Boca Juniors centre-back Aaron Anselmino. Moreover, Chelsea took former Fulham defender Tosin Adarabioyo as a free agent and snapped up 18-year-old Aston Villa attacking midfielder Omari Kalaman. And these are only half of Chelsea's owner Todd Boehly's summer signings. Next up, we will be talking about Villarreal goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen and Leicester central midfielder Kieran Dewsbury Hall. We also would like to include here the 19-year-old goalkeeper of the Belgian Pro League outfit Genk, Mike Penders. The Blues purchased the youngster and immediately sent him back on loan to the Smurfs. At Stamford Bridge, it's believed that Penders has what it takes to become the next Thibaut Courtois in the future. No less hopes are placed on 16-year-old winger Gabriel Mek from Grêmio. The boy, dubbed the new Neymar in Brazil, will become a Chelsea player in 2026 once he comes of age. Transfers for the future were made with enthusiasm, no doubt about that. But Boehly wouldn't be Boehly if he did not complete a few top deals too. After all, the club still needed ready-made performers meant to instantly bolster the squad. The American businessman spent 60 million euros on Wolverhampton Wanderers winger Pedro Neto and another 52 million on the re-signing of Joao Felix, which made the fans really excited. The Portuguese tandem produced results from the very first game they played together. In the match against Wolves, Nelix, whose goal sealed Chelsea's 6-2 away win. Among other things, it has already become known the pensioners did everything they could to secure the signature of Napoli centre-forward Victor Osimhen. However, the Nigerian set excessive financial demands and eventually refused to join the English club. However, even without him, Chelsea have assembled a pretty terrific attacking Christopher Nkunku, Pedro Neto, Joao Felix, Noni Madueke, Mikhailo Mudryk, and Nicolas Jackson. And now we have Jadon Sancho on board. A fantastic selection of players that even Manchester City can envy. An impeccable blend of youth, skill, and focus on goals and victories. Just imagine the faces of the Premier League defenders that will have to stop Palmer, Nkunku, and Sancho for 60 minutes, only to be overrun by Madueke, Felix, and Neto coming off the bench in the last half hour. Does anyone else in the league have such options in the final third of the pitch? Maestro will be able to choose any gorgeous combination, and Chelsea's estimated lineup will look something like this throughout the season. Robert Sanchez or Figo, Malo Gusto or Reece James, Wesley Fofana or Tosin Adarabioyo will take the right centre-back role. The left centre-back will be either Levi Colwill or Benoit Badiashile. Mark Cucurella and Ben Chilwell operate as a left-back. The two central midfielders are Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, with Romeo Lavia expected to compete with them. On the right will Palmer or Noni Madueke. Palmer may have attacking midfielder Christopher Nkunku. On Pedro Neto and Mikhailo Mudryk then has the best chances to succeed if the injured Neto gets frequently injured and Mudryk fails to reach the qualitatively new level. The Englishman will easily steal a hot spot from both. Forward situation, we should look forward to a between Nicolas Jackson and Joao Felix, which will benefit each of them. Chelsea's attacking line is perfect for formation. For example, with Palmer on the right, and Nkunku in the role of playmaker, Sancho on the left, and Felix in the attack. Or Madueke on the right, Palmer behind the striker, Sancho on the left, and Jackson as the spearhead. The third option is the following: Madueke on the right, Sancho on the left, with Palmer and Felix as the two false nines. Or they can try a Palmer and Kunku mix. There are a lot of options, really. The rest of the small details are not for us to decide, but for Enzo Maresca. You see, Chill's such a superb and super flexible squad in one summer is definitely Todd Boehly's merit. We will never know what is going on in the mind of this weird Chelsea owner, but he still deserves respect. You know why? In addition to strong purchases, Boehly was responsible for equally impressive sales. Interestingly enough, the Blues got rid of unnecessary players for 175 million euros. Most of this profit came from permanent transfers. Romelu Lukaku to Napoli for 30 million, Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid for 42 million, as well as Jan Matson to Aston Villa for 44.5 million euros. Let's also add Lewis Hall's departure to Newcastle United for 33 million and Raheem Sterling's loan to Arsenal. By agreement, the Gunners will cover some of the winger's salary, thus Chelsea's overall financial profile will be slightly improved. So, a lot of smart moves have been made. A chaotic but amazing summer for Chelsea and their fans. Now Enzo Maresca's men have everything they need to take the Premier League by storm. Guys, do you want even more awesome Chelsea content? Then you should totally check out our other videos about the London club. Click on the link and enjoy. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye. Jadon Sancho joined Chelsea on the deadline day of the summer transfer window, which is icing in the cake of the Blues' another crazy campaign. One of the biggest signings of the year, that's for sure. Together with Sancho, the Blues have put together the strongest attacking line in the Premier League's history, which will bring Jadon Sancho joined Chelsea on the deadline day of the summer transfer window.
In today's video, we are going to analyse Jadon Sancho, Chelsea's new arrival on transfer deadline day, how he could fit into Enzo Maresca's system, how he could look at Chelsea, and could he revive his career since joining the Blues. I think one of the most obvious things to start with is that boyhood Chelsea fan link, and the link he has with Joe Shields, as you can see in the image here. If Sancho was ever going to be motivated to revitalise his career and take steps in the right direction, it would be in this exact mould, playing for somebody he clearly respects in Maresca, coming into a club with Joe Shields where he has a clear personal link with him, and being a boyhood Chelsea fan from London, wanting to prove people wrong on the Manchester United end, make it work in the Premier League. There's so much going in this end, in this sort of favour of Sancho, for him to really spark that bit of motivation that he might need. I think Sancho is most likely to play off the left. I think that's the best option for him at Chelsea. Of course, there is more positional fluidity when it comes to Sancho, though. He can play on both sides of the pitch. So he could play on the left, or he could even play on the right side. You've got Madueke and Neto another who can play on both sides, and of course Mudryk. So between those four, you've got good cover on both wings. What you could also see with Sancho is he could cover in that number 10 role, because he is very good with those little intricate passes and in those tight spaces in the middle of the pitch, which we're going to speak about soon. When Sancho's playing on the left, of course, when he's cutting inside, he'd be coming in from the left onto his right foot. So he's got that tendency to cut inside on his right foot. He's very good with that curling shot towards the far post. He's an efficient shooter, but it is at a very low volume. So 0.25 goals to shot ratio, being quite efficient, but only 0.72 shots per 90, which is very low for a winger. He has also got the near post drag shot in his arsenal, which he started to show a few times at Dortmund last season, and again in his Dortmund past he has done it too. But another thing that he's really got is that in-swinging cross potential, which is becoming one of the most dangerous parts of the game in the modern era. And he's really got that on his right foot to be able to cut inside and put that in-swinger towards the back post. So this is something you could see heavily utilised when Sancho is cutting inside from that left wing. In terms of going on the outside, Sancho is a more precise dribbling technique type player, which we're going to speak about again in more detail when we're talking about his ball carrying techniques. But he uses that sort of dribbling technique and more precise nature to fake inside before going on the outside. He has got a weaker On his, the image that we're showing you here is on his right side, so that would be going onto his strong foot going down the byline. But when he's playing on that left, he would of course be going onto his left foot. So similar to some people have with Madueke as an issue on his right foot on the right wing. Sancho has got a weaker left foot, but he can still deliver the ball. He makes 2.69 crosses per 90, which is quite low amongst wingers. It's actually in the 41 percentile. So this isn't a high volume of crossing, but what he can do is get to the byline and put little neat, intricate passes in with his creative passing. For me, this is the most exciting thing about Sancho. His ability and awareness to create box entries from all angles with his amazing pass uniqueness and creativity. He has that open body technique where he has an access to all passing angles, whether that be the outside of his boot, a little chip, a driven pass, a disguised pass slipped on the inside or outside, little 1-2 connections. He's got, and as we said earlier, the in-swinger, the outswinger. He's got a lot of these different methods and techniques that he can use to combine with players, but also to get out of tight spaces and creatively find players in opportunities. Sancho makes 2.39 passes into the penalty area per 90. So as I said, these box entries via clever passes, not necessarily crosses, as we said earlier, but these little abilities to make these intricate outside the boot passes into the box, little dinked balls over the top into the runners in the half spaces, for example. The number 8s would be at Chelsea, such as this one on screen here. That ability to do that adds to Chelsea's creative arsenal, especially against low blocks where he can get on the ball and he can find those little intricate passes against tight-knit teams who are sitting in a low block, and you need to play through them with aggression and a confidence to succeed. Moving on to ball carrying, as we said earlier, that sort of technique similar to he uses is a bit more intricate than some of the other wingers. So, for example, Madueke, who you would probably class as more direct running style and a more direct nature of being a 1v1 player. Sancho is more likely to slow things down and try and manipulate the opposition player with little feints, little intricate ball manipulations to try and put them off balance before then attacking them and beating them. By creating these little feints, it gives him the choices and the time to make up in his mind as well, that little bit of composure time to decide whether he wants to go on the inside or outside based on the defender's placement and their gravity where they're placed on the pitch, but also their body weight, which way they're shifting, and also if he can play a little clever pass into one of the spaces, as we said earlier, with that intricate passing. Sancho completes 3.17 carries into the final third per 90, 2.39 carries into the penalty area per 90, 5.26 progressive carries per 90, and completes 3.71 take-ons per 90, also attempting 7.48 per 90 of these take-ons. This shows the nature of player that Sancho is. He wants to go 1v1, he wants to carry the ball forwards, and he wants to be a big part of dictating that attacking line. Now, associative play, I would say, is something that's quite important for Sancho, because he did even say in an interview with Maresca, or talking about Maresca, sorry, that he wants to play little 1-2s, combine with the number 8s, and get 1v1. Those were a few things that he mentioned in his interview that he's excited about playing under Maresca and that style of play. Sancho attempts 27.69 short passes per 90, and this just shows his willingness and that sort of bias towards playing shorter, more combine passes, more combination plays, little 1-2s, sort of breeding his confidence and becoming more and more unpredictable for when he then does go for a more killer pass between the lines or over the defensive line. Both Enzo Maresca and Chelsea fans will be hoping to get a confident Sancho where he's enjoying his football and he can really start to breed those relationships on the pitch that start to aid his play in terms of playing those 1-2s, beating his man 1v1, little tricks and flicks round the corner, and just enjoying his football and getting back to his very best in terms of confidence, because that is when you definitely see the best of Jadon Sancho. Now, the main negatives, of course, the mentality in the past and his fallout with Ten Hag, quite a big talking point. That determination, can he get back to finding that determination, motivation, which we spoke about at the very start of the video. With this new environment being at Chelsea with Joe Shields and Enzo Maresca, you would expect this is the exact environment Sancho needs to succeed and to prove people wrong. He's also not the fastest winger, which is again why he uses that more intricate dribbling style, slows things down and tries to play things at his tempo. So whether you see this as a negative or not, it is worth mentioning that pace isn't one of his biggest assets. And lastly, he doesn't have the biggest defensive impact. Whether that changes under Maresca, I don't know if it's down to more of a work rate issue, more of a motivation issue when he was at United, for example. But those defensive output numbers and pressing intensities will have to increase. Overall, for the value of the deal, I'd be lying if I said I didn't love this transfer. Jadon Sancho is somebody I wanted at the club back in 2019. I think he has all the ability in the world. He's going to help Chelsea against low blocks with that creative passing, that playmaker-type winger that Chelsea wanted in Michael Olise on the right side, for example. The big gamble is, of course, if he can get that motivation back, get that spark in confidence, and look to prove people wrong. But I do think he's going to start on the left this Saturday against Bournemouth. I at least hope he plays if he doesn't start. I can't wait to see him in Chelsea blue. Hopefully he proves a lot of people wrong and starts his Chelsea career with a bang. Let me know what you think of this transfer down in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already.